Good morning. Thank you for the invitation to here moderating a panel in such an interesting topic, accessible energy transition. And thank you, Miguel, for the insights that you left in the stage that were very, very interesting and I think very valuable for the discussion we are going to have here. So first, what does accessible energy transition mean? So in my opinion, it means that it must be inclusive, easily accessible and beneficial to the entire society without increasing the impact both at economical and environmental levels. And to discuss this very, very important topic, we have here two speakers. Together with me, I have Anabela, who is COO of Prio. She's responsible for the biodiesel, the advanced biofuel production sites and the innovation and sustainability areas in Prio. She has been in Prio since the beginning, and sustainable development is part of her daily life, right, Anabela?
Yes.
And we also have Gonçalves Pereira, who is coordinator at EcoMood Portugal. He will tell us a little bit about the EcoMood association later. He's also ambassador of the European Climate Pact, and I think we have here two very good speakers to help us tackle these very important questions. And I will start with you, António. So Portugal has been growing quite significantly in adopting renewable energy in the diverse sectors. I believe that there are still some important challenges to overcome. Do you agree? And if yes, in your opinion, what are the major challenges that we need to tackle to increase the adoption of renewable energy in Portugal?
Well, first of all, thank you for the invitation. It's always a pleasure to talk about these things, even though the scenery is not that pleasurable. And yeah, there's quite a few challenges. I agree with Miguel, but I think there's more than one elephant in the room. One of them is that we are not really transitioning. We are adding renewables to the fossil fuel consumption. One of the R's, we are sustainability R's that we are really not paying attention to, and is the main one, is reducing, and we are not reducing. Then another challenge in Portugal is that, we based, well, the huge elephant in the room in Portugal is that we offered our grid and our natural monopoly to companies that belong to another state. And so we have everything built on that. And that's a big problem to have a fair and accessible transition, or if not call it transition, accessibility to energy as a first need item, like food. On top of all that, we are building this transition with huge projects with huge impacts on footprint, on biodiversity and whatever, to then convert that energy to high voltage and then transport it across the country, while we should be doing much smaller projects for proximity consumption in a much fairer way. I have nothing against having private companies on this, surely not, but the energy communities, the regional level, the municipal level should be our first priority too. Then we can have private companies making their role on that, but combined with something that we should be our base ground rule, which is energy is a first necessity thing. It's a right.
Like Miguel said.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah, private companies are needed. I think there's needed more cooperation. Innovation and cooperation, I think, will be very important in leading the way. Tackling one of the elephants in the room, the fossil fuels, we cannot end today with their usage because there are too many sectors that use them daily, and they are very good and very practical energy carriers, but we need indeed to substitute them, that's for sure. And that's transition. Transition is a pathway to some, and I believe we are not transitioning with the right speed, and we have options. And this question is about biofuels and their role in this transitioning this energy source. Anabela, biofuels are often seen as a bridge in the energy transition. How do you see evolving their role in Portugal? And what sectors, in your opinion, would benefit most from biofuel adoption? And if you can, please share some of the work Prio has been doing in this area, in substituting one of the elephants in the room.
So, thank you so much to be here. Biofuels. For the one that maybe don't know, biofuel were the main responsible for the decarbonization of the road transport in the last 2 decades. All the consumers, lots of consumers, even nowadays, don't know that the gas oil, the petrol gas oil that we have in stations, have a percentage of bios. Okay? And why? In Portugal, even we are working these 2 decades, only 7% of the 7% of the physical volume are bios. It's too low. And why? First, at the beginning, the car manufacturers, even the big majors in the market, have put lots of obstacles and restrictions to specs and so on. And this has made our work very hard. Okay? But at Prio, we are persistent. And we produce advanced biofuels. We produce using residues, using cooking oil, and the residues from the food industry. Is a circular economy, okay? Nowadays, our production is mainly for, with this type of residues, a mixture, because we need to comply all the specs, and it's very challenging because with the residues we have everything. Each vessel is a challenge also for production. We made why the biofuels are have this importance? Because when we are talking about residues, working with residues, our footprint, the level of emission is too low compared with fossil. When we are able to put in the market biofuels with emissions around 85% lower than the diesel. Okay, when we are looking to the entire life cycle. Okay, so we believe at Prio, and myself, my story mix a little with Prio because I am from the beginning, but we believe that these advanced biofuels are the most efficient way to do the transition now. Using the infrastructures we have and challenge the fleets we have nowadays. That's why we develop and we put in the market last year a new product that we have called EcoDiesel. And EcoDiesel is a mixture of diesel, of course we need diesel, but have 15% of biodiesel, is a blend with 15% of biodiesel. And we have put this product in all petrol stations around the country. All the consumers nowadays, all of you, can make a choice and make an option to have a product with a lower footprint at accessible price if you want to decarbonize your trips. Also, we have only two things, solutions for maritime. And one thing very, very important, we do tailor-made solutions. And why? Because we need to look to our clients, their ambitions, and also the researches they have, the fleet they have, what are the type, what they do on the daily work, and try to match our solutions to the needs of the clients, okay? And is what we try to work every day. I believe a lot in bios. I agree with one thing that Antonio said, very important, this decentralize the production of energy. And when the biofuels and the biodiesel plants start 20 years ago, start with, we can say, lower investments compared to the petrol diesel. And that's why we have a few biodiesel plants around Europe and the world. I think now it's changing a little again, but we will see. I think lower plants are more efficient and can bring more opportunities for all.
Yeah, the importance of local development is also very relevant. And indeed, there are many solutions based in biofuels, ranging from 15% of renewable energy to 100%. So in several gas stations in Portugal, from Prio, but not only, also from some competitors, there is 100% renewable diesel, fossil-free, that is being sold for now only to dedicated fleets, but I believe that the legislation will change and soon it will be available to all, making it accessible. So, on energy accessibility and social impact, Antonio, you have been promoting this fairness and promoting the change in behaviors towards a more sustainable thought for many years. Can you talk a little bit of your experience, what you do in EcoMood, so how it started, and how can we assure this transition is inclusive and that energy costs remain manageable, especially for the vulnerable populations that Miguel gave us a few examples?
So we at EcoMood, we have a phrase that says we promote sustainable mindsets, behaviors, and solutions. Because without the solutions, just promoting an evolution in behaviors and mindsets becomes abstract. You have to put the solutions in front of the people you're talking to. And so that's mostly what we do. We help promote, for instance, we are not specialists as experts as Miguel is, for instance. What we do is we keep, put Miguel speaking. And people like Miguel, trying to give them a platform, a stage, the visibility, so that they can, and then we also learn from them, and so that we can spread the word. The same with Prio, for instance. Prio is our partner for many years now, I believe since 2018 or something like that. I believe so. You're even our members, our association members. And we started, of course, with electric mobility, which is something we also promote as a part of sustainable mobility. We have to reduce cars, but those that will stay should be sustainable, of course, and our buses should be sustainable, and so on. But then it evolved, and I really love this biodiesel side to it, not growing sunflowers to produce biodiesel, but like Prio does. What's the percentage of cooking oils? It's like 80% or something like that, isn't it?
But nowadays we use 100% residues.
Okay, I'm outdated. My data is outdated, so it's already 100%. So it's a residue that has a huge environmental impact. It's really a problem. To give you an idea, 1 liter of cooking oil spoils 1 ton of water. Most of us still put it down the drain, which is a huge problem. And instead of that, I invite you to go to the little factory outside afterwards and see the process, because it's mainly a simple process. It substitutes...
It's not simple, it's complex.
Well, let me say it's simple. Well, it's simple for you anyway. You just have to deliver the cooking oil, then it's Prio's problem. And so we have residue that becomes raw material again, and that reduces the use of fossil fuels in a very speedy way. It can be done now. Some solutions, we are still developing them. This one is already there. So this is one of the ways for us in EcoMood to, of course, we don't do biodiesel. We are not doing energy community like Miguel is, but we try to communicate these solutions, trying to give the idea to people that becoming sustainable is not only a necessity, but much easier than people might think. It's costful, and I have to change all my ways, my habits to become sustainable. It's really not like that. Since I started worrying about this and started to evolve, because I was a troglodyte, like most of people my age. I didn't spare any water. I smoked, and my fags went to my cigarette butts went to the floor. Everything that people my age used to do. When I start worrying about these things and to lower my footprint, what I can tell you is my life quality improved. I'm much happier now, of course, because I also am concerned about having a positive role in the community, and that makes me happy as well. But even as a citizen, my daily existence is much happier now that I try to, have that philosophy that less is more, and I give much more value to small things. And so, yeah, we can be a lot happier, not talking about survival, which is the main thing, but even at the moment, we can be happier just by being sustainable. And that's what we try, that's the word we try to pass on.
It's a good sentence.
Yes.
And sometimes it's even simpler. And reduction, you told it at the beginning, has benefits not only in terms of environment, but also economical. Yeah. So to reuse, to reduce our usage of so many goods.
Let me just say this, it's exactly the same action to throw the residues, the garbage, to the trash can or to the composting can. It takes the same time, it's exactly the same gesture. One thing is not sustainable, the other one is. But it's the same thing.
Yeah. Simple gestures make the difference. That's so true. And passing from our daily life habits to more heavy industry sectors. So, Anabela, heavy industry and transportation, especially maritime aviation, are challenging sectors to decarbonize. Are not so easy to take out the fossils away. So, Anabela, what specific steps are being taken, or in your opinion could be taken, to promote adoption of sustainable energy, either biofuels, electricity, other forms of renewable energy in these sectors that are very hard to abate emissions in Portugal?
So the heavy vehicles are more difficult to decarbonize compared to the light vehicles that electricity is more easier. But we are trying also, and I think with success, to put solutions in the market. With this eco-diesel, I said before, the normal consumer, we have more than 6,000 clients on that product. And for the trucks, it was difficult because of guarantees and all these things that come. And when we look to the spec of a gas oil, the traditional gas oil, and look to the spec of the B15, that is our eco-diesel, the only parameter that is different is the content of biofuel. All the other are in the range according to the specs. And even with this, we have some constraints, and we need to convince our clients to do pilots and tests. But I think we have been success, because we have nowadays more than 1,400 of clients using eco-diesel. And this is without problems and with a very good performance. So it's a way to do the things now, like I said before. And even with these clients, we challenge them to go forward more quickly. And we have a carrier that works with us that acquire a truck for 100% of biodiesel. And we only with a small amount, I think it's around 3,000 euros more compared to the traditional truck, to have an adaptation to use biodiesel. Because in the winter, biodiesel can, for big amounts, it can help in the performance of the engine. So, and our client needs to replicate and do more trucks with this. And also we have other partners as well that want to do this way with us. But we are at the beginning.
And we should be right at the end, right?
We are late.
We are late. Yeah,
we will, for maritime, next year, we will have targets, because until now, we only have targets for road transport. And that's why we have biodiesel in the road transport, because if we don't have legislation and so on, it will be difficult. So next year, we will have targets for maritime, and I think it also be an opportunity to put more solutions. And why this green solution don't grow more quickly? I think we need some incentives. We need the incentives from the consumers, okay, from one hand, because we need people asking for green solutions. If the people ask for that, the players in the market need to deliver that. From the other side, I think also we saw that, for instance, in the taxes of the fuels, we have a parcel that is carbon tax, and the bios pay the same as the fossil. And this don't make sense, okay? We need to do something about. And also the public entities also need to lead by the example. How? When they do procurement, public procurement, put some incentives for the green solutions, and we don't see that yet. Electricity made a very good job in communication and so on, and biofuels on that side, I think, didn't made the publicity and all these things like electricity does, and that's why most of the people don't know biofuels.
Yeah. And that's very relevant. We need all the solutions. So we need biofuels, need green electricity, we'll need hydrogen when it comes to reality for public usage. And I believe that what will take us to the desired net zero in 2050 or a little bit later, will be many different solutions, and some of them we don't have them yet commercially speaking. So we need to invest a lot also in R&D and innovation to bring to the market new solutions that are efficient and that especially can help us decarbonizing the hard to abate sectors. I also believe that we need to improve literacy in energy, and that's why we are here today, and thank you for Planetiers organization to bring this team to the stage. And this question is for both of us, for both of you, sorry. So how important do you think public awareness of the existing energy transition solution, how important is it to bring that to people in general, to schools, to companies, not energy related, of course. So, and what efforts do you think are being made or should be made in order to raise the public awareness of these solutions?
You want to start?
You can start.
So, you reminded me a few months back at Technical University in Lisbon. Me and several other speakers were challenged to speak about if climate change and things like that should be at the university curricula. And I was the only one saying, no. If we're waiting until people are 18, 19, 20 years old to start that, we're doing something really, really wrong. What should be taught in universities was applied sustainability. You're taking architecture, you must have a degree on sustainable architecture, how to do architecture in a sustainable way. And that goes for all areas. That should be in high school and at university level. Climate change, energy transition, like citizenship should start at first grade. Of course, with different levels of speech, and something that is, while you grow, the speech becomes more specific, but the idea should start from scratch. And that's where we're failing. And yes, it is very important to, and that's the best way to give that knowledge and that awareness to the public, to everybody. I remind you that we were having a huge problem in starting to separate residues in recycling, let's say. Once we got that into school in a fun way, with some TV commercials as well, and cartoons and things like that. But once we started we put that in schools, in 2 years, we went from 3% to 40%. In 2 school years. Of course, then we stopped. Well, we've done enough. We went down again. What can we do? But that shows that and that's not because we are talking to those kids. I usually say that I love to work with schools because it's a 3-in-1, like shampoo and conditioner and whatever, which is, the one is we helping mindsets that are still virgin of bad habits, of starting from scratch, doing things the right way. Then the 2-in-1 is we're putting Jiminy Crickets at home. We're sending them home to help their parents and their grandparents to evolve. We doing that directly is really, really hard. Trying to put people my age to change a whole lifetime of habits is really difficult. Their kids can do that very, very, very effectively. And then the 3-in-1 is, well, there's hope that we're also building some activists. Yeah, so it's very important to put out the word in a very effective way.
Yeah, what I can add that I agree. And I get shocked when sometimes I talk with some friends and they don't separate I get shocked.
Yeah, me too.
Even in the packagings, because in the cookie packagings we have plastic and paper, and I separate both.
Yeah.
And I saw people of my age, and I'm not so old, doing nothing about
And it's
that.
so easy.
And
right?
it's so easy.
Exactly.
And because also we believe that it's from the first grade we need to start, we develop our project that as eco-waste, we have the stand outside that people can see. And also why? Because we develop a network of collection. Why? Because in 2017, we take a look to the numbers and we saw that only 15% of the oil that are putting in the market, we collect.
Yep.
If the industry and the HoReCa sector have rules, the domestic sector is the main responsible to put not to are doing the right way. So we developed this network. We have collectors in all our petrol stations. And besides that, we do lots of awareness of people. We are in events like that with our stand, trying to promote education, understanding about this. And also we do around the country, once a year, eco schools program that starts in the primary until the higher school. And we put a challenging, different of the grade, of course, and it has been very well. And we saw one thing very interesting. In our collectors, the percentage, the quantity of the oil are increasing. So it gives us hope that our actions are making the difference.
That's very important.
Let me just say one thing about this, because
Of course.
in fairness, because well, this debate is about fairness and democracy and being, and this is one of the problems. Now we're talking, passing word to the public. We're putting all the responsibility in the final consumer. And that's one of the things that it's really not fair. All the people in the value chain that earn money with that product should be accounted for too. And they should have tools and ways, in this case, for instance, with the cooking oils, they should have a responsibility to have ways, to build ways with their clients to get that product back, that residue back. And they have no responsibility at all.
That's very relevant.
It's just the final consumer, and for the final and there's no incentive for the final consumer to be sustainable or to give it back. So everybody along the way in the value chain, in the production and distribution chain, should be accounted responsible as well.
That's a very interesting idea, and I totally agree with you. So let's go now for the last question. And looking 10 to 20 years ahead, when this is also for both of you, in your opinion, what does an accessible, renewable powered Portugal look like? And in your opinion, what are the key milestones that we need to achieve along the way to claim this? So in 20 years to be a renewable powered Portugal. And renewable, not only electricity, but other forms of energy. Renewable in holistic, renewable energy in general terms. What do you think? What do you see in the future?
I think the milestones are there. The problem is to achieve them. Okay. Because all the politics and the speed has been very low. But even in Portugal, we have so many legislative pieces with the targets. We need to put the things doing more quickly. And we need a very good collaboration between the companies, between the entities, between all the society, in order to be more quickly to achieving the targets and the goals that are defined.
So we have the milestones, we just need to work to get there.
And sometimes what happens, we are postponed these milestones because even in Portugal, I remember very well that the percentage of biofuels increase, and one year decrease. It don't make sense.
Yeah, that's true. Antonio, what is your vision to the future? An optimistic one? Or not so optimistic?
Well, let us focus on what we should and can do, and not what I think that will surely happen, because the thing is, we're trying to change the final result without changing the paradigm. And that would be a whole other session about politics and who we elect and our system. I'm not going into that. I'm saying, but there's some things that can be done and shall be done, and we as individuals have a role on that in our active citizenship. For instance, betting more on energy communities, and I mean real energy communities, not those that are being proposed by the big companies. It's some communities born in the community, collective self-consumption as well, and that's good for companies as well. And I have some very good examples on that. And there, the big companies already can have a role as well. And then in other solutions, and I'm going to finish with giving you this idea and with an invitation. At 1 o'clock today, we're going to do the first ride, first official ride, we have already done some testing ones, in a converted muliceiro. Muliceiro are those boats here, typical from Aveiro. We're going to do a ride in one that has been converted to electric. I'm just going to tell you this. Converting that boat to electric is less costful than 1 year of diesel. The 1 year of diesel that it usually spends. And it saves over 30 tons of CO2 emissions per year, just one muliceiro.
Just one muliceiro?
Yeah, so at 12:30, I'm running from here to the pitch stage to present that project, and then at 1 o'clock, you're invited. There's just room for 30, but we'll be doing a little ride on that muliceiro where we can whisper, because besides all, there's no sound pollution as well. It's those kind of rethinking those kinds of solutions, and the state and the government can also give the example, not just by legislation, but by using those solutions. We should be converting the huge government, state fleet, road fleet and other ones, buses and the state can start by doing it to their own fleets, not passing on legislation so it can be done. So it's so there are subsidies, which there should be. In France there already are, but also giving the example by doing it themselves.
So leading by the example.
Yes.
Yeah, that is, I believe, very important too. I don't know if anyone in the audience wants to pose some question to one of our speakers.
The first one is always very difficult. Maybe Miguel wants to say something.
I think there's a question there. So what can...
Okay.
Okay.
Hello, good morning. Thank you for your good presentations and discussions. Is the palm oil and sunflower oil used in these biofuels, or even if it's not used in the Prio, in other brands,
Yes,
are they using this type of oils?
There are some industries, other industries, that use palm oil, but even in the European Union, they want to do the phase out of palm oil, and they have a calendar to do this phase out and eliminate the palm oil for the bios. But nowadays, there are a few companies that use. At Prio, no, we don't use palm oil.
100% used cooking oils.
And other residues from industry, but
and other oily residues.
yes.
Do you still have Another question, or we cannot see very well, sorry.
Hello, you can hear me. So
Yes.
firstly, I just wanted to say that what Antonio mentioned about companies having more accountability and not just putting on the consumer, I thought that was such an amazing insight, because I do think we need to stop pushing it onto the final consumer and start taking more responsibility across the value chain. So I just wanted to say I thought that was a really great message to pass on. The question that I had was actually with regards to the biodiesel. I think it's really great from a circularity perspective. My question was in terms of actually the pollution that's produced afterwards. What's the difference compared to normal diesel? That might be a really difficult question, I don't know.
In terms of emissions, we always look to the whole life cycle, okay? Because we have the combustion of biodiesel and we have emissions. But we have not only the CO2, but we have NOx. The products from NOx are lower in the bio compared to the diesel, okay? But we have a combustion, we have emissions, but we look always to the life cycle of the product, where in our case we use residues. The emission is zero, but then we have transport, transformation, and so on, because we need energy to produce, to convert the oils into the final product.
Thank you very much for your questions, and we are now having a red alert saying that it's right on time. Thank you for your contributions. I think they were very helpful tackling this very important challenge of accessible energy transition, and thank you for hearing us.
Thank you.